Fog Entertainment back again with our movie review, and we're looking at The Midnight Sky, and I think this is the first movie by George Clooney, well, for him to feature in, and also he did direct this bad boy, to feature on this channel. It came out in 2020. I believe it was already filmed before the COVID pandemic. Not that that really matters, to be honest, but listen to this. It was a budget of 100 million and it only did 3 million at the box office. Now, what did I think of this movie? Well, it was 118 minutes long. It was pretty much 2 hours. And let's dive into the plot. Damn it. And George Clooney's character, Augustine, he's got a really weird name. We kick off on the planet. This Augustine Lapels player, he's doing a presentation at a gala, and they form a bit of a relationship with some woman, Jean Sullivan, and it turns out they have a kid, but due to his devotion to his work, he doesn't want to see his kid or something. It's really weird, to be honest. He chooses not to meet her. We see years later when she's about 11 that he chooses not to meet her, but we don't actually get to see her at this point. Now we go to 30 years later. Most of Earth's population has been obliterated by this point. We are in 2049 due to radiation, so he decides to stay behind and everybody leaves. So everyone is heading to Jupiter's habitable moon K23, which in fact Augustine did discover. So at this point you've got an interesting plot. This guy's staying behind, but guess what? One morning he wakes up and there's an extra bowl of Cheerios sitting on the canteen table, and he's like, what? And it turns out there's a kid left behind. We find out that her name is Iris. She likes to draw flowers, and yeah, so she doesn't speak. She's an absolute mute. Pretty much, I mean, it's a kind of a cool wee, tag teaming you've got here. George Clooney and this like 11-year-old kid. He does have cancer as well, so he has to go through chemotherapy by himself. So it's good to see him with like somebody helping him along the way. But at the end of the day, you could mistake this for being a weird relationship because of the fact this is a kid. There's no relation to him whatsoever. But he's trying to get in contact with the rest of the like any crew in space that could come down, and it's called Avar. We do get 5 characters introduced here. We've got Mitchell, we've got Sully, Adewole, Maya, and Sanchez. And I believe Maya sadly passes away. I think that is the character Maya. So she gets struck by some debris as Avar is trying to like sort itself out. And because they're in space, I've never actually seen this before in like a space movie. Like obviously people have bled like in space, but like in Aliens and shit, it's like actually confined to like the spaceship. But here you actually see what the effect of gravity has on blood, and it comes in like specks. Oh man, it was creepy to watch. Like obviously blood, it's like a liquid, but in space you see how it acts, and it's like, if that's how it acts, then how does it act inside your body, man? Creeping me out. That is what this is doing, man. Jesus, this was creepy shit. But sadly Maya passes away. But then we do have Augustine and Iris. They go on a journey to get to the only satellite left on Earth pretty much that they think will work, because it's been trapped in between mountains, and therefore hopefully the air quality is good enough for it to work. But on the way they get stuck in a snow blizzard. He loses Iris, but then he finds her. He finds a guy, puts him out of his misery. There's also wolves. He's carrying his shotgun. He loses all his chemotherapy equipment, man. Things are all looking good, but they manage to make it to the bloody radio tower, so to speak. He puts out another message, the first message to Ivor, but that's when their whole situation happens, when Maya dies. And when they basically discover from Augustine that it's not going to work, Earth's pretty much inhabitable, the 2 pilot guys just decide to go back because they've got family there. Bit stupid, to be honest, why they decide to go back to Earth, to be honest, but anyway, that's the way it's going to go. But there was a weird point in this movie, right, because you get about 80 minutes in, or maybe about an hour, 65, 70 minutes in, right, around about that region, and you've basically just focused on Augustine and the odd scene here and there about the Aether ship and those people, and then you get about half an hour, 35 minutes of Aether and nothing to do with George Clooney. I thought that was weird. But then we quickly discover here that the pilot, Sully, so to speak, Not is it Sully? It is Sully. Turns out her name is actually Iris. Damn it. So Iris, damn. That she was Sully all along, and it turns out Augustine was imagining Iris to help him through. So it's almost like it gave him a thing, and he's proud to have finally met her. Of course, she doesn't know what's going on, but it was his daughter Sully's mission. God damn it, man, it was very sad. And then it pretty much ends. He falls out of radio contact, Augustine. We don't actually see him doing anything, and then like the movie just ends very abruptly. Because well, not very abruptly, just very like leaves a lot open, so to speak. Because you've got Sully and Adewale. These two are going to have a kid, but it just ends with them like stop communication with Augustine, and then they're going to have to head back to the planet they came from, K-23. You know what, guys? I feel like these movies on Netflix and just movies today in general, like the problem with them is they could be a lot better, but because it's like I don't know what it is. It's because there must be something in the contract where they just have to go a certain length of time. Movies these days they always tend to be over 2 hours, and this one just barely 118 minutes. But some movies could just do with being 90 minutes long, right? And some movies need the extra time. Like Titanic needs the extra time, but there's some movies that just do not need the extra half an hour or 90 minutes extra, whatever it be. And this is one of them. And I think it gravely affects the actual plot of the movie, makes it very slow and drawn out. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 5. Did I enjoy George Clooney? Yes. Was the rest of them jobbers? Kinda. But George Clooney was the man in this movie, guys. But that's it for Fog Entertainment. That is it for The Midnight Sky. It's a 7 out of 10. Hit the like button, hit the big red gene. And until then, peace.